Service Chiefs, the Director, CID.
I bleed when I see police officers who are working at Ginger Road sleeping in Mukono. And they must come to work on time and then go back on their meager salaries. There is need for housing, the police, the prison, and the Directorate of Immigration. You know, Your Excellency, I remember I had a quarrel with these gentlemen of the Law Council when they were saying we should examine the people before they go to LDC. My question was, you don't teach cyber crime, cyber law. You don't teach forensic law. You don't teach sports law. You don't teach maritime law. You don't teach. Do you need these judges and these lawyers? When you put a pre-entry, those who didn't study these things and did them abroad are at a disadvantage. And yet we need these people. Similarly, the CID ought to be educated in these disciplines. We need CID officers who are conversant with cybercrime, who are conversant and competent with maritime law, with the oil and gas, with the etc. So, Your Excellency, there is need for adequate training for CID officers, reshaping and adequate training for CID officers. We have this problem of the existential threat to national integrity and development, corruption. I find it a bit difficult that it's only you blowing the clarion call to fight corruption when the rest of us in leadership are a bit silent. I think I call on my colleague leaders, political leaders, to stand up and we support the president in fighting against corruption. Let's talk. We will not change the much, but let's also talk. And as for you, the CID officers and prosecutors, as you know, I have read both groups and I know what happens down there. I'm not here to spoil the wedding. But I beg of you to do internal search and have a perpetual recitation of mea culpa. That's what will solve your reputation and cause the advancement of our society.
The issue of bail, because this issue of bail, if the case is ready for trial, I think is really a big mistake. I can understand if the case is not yet ready for bail, after 6 months, you can think of bail. But if the case is ready for trial, why do you not try it and finish it? Especially if it is a case of murder or corruption, like in the case of these politicians, or rape or treason. Why do you concentrate on, even for the accused? I would want to say, you try me quickly and I prove my innocence. Why do you want to prolong it? So I think the Attorney General should see how to help us on the issue of bail. The Chief Justice, through Chief Justice's instruction, had clarified that applying for bail is a right. You can apply. But granting bail is not a right. It is a decision by the judge, taking into account the circumstances. So those judges who are just giving bail because it's not a right. It's not a right because, yes, the accused has rights, but the victims also have rights. You cannot say that the rights of the accused are the only rights in the Constitution. Because be careful with these Africans. Africans still believe in the law of Moses. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. This is their justice. This one of Jesus, loving your enemies, that's a new idea. I want to thank Magambo for this effort of trying to make you belong to Uganda. So, when you call yourself a public servant, a public servant of where? Of Uganda, or UK, or where? If you say you are UK, then of course you are in the wrong place. Because this is Uganda. The Uganda have described it to you. So our advice that time was, why don't you get the small salary you get, but handle the issues of welfare collectively? In the UPDF, we encourage the building of army schools. Why don't children of biological children, not relatives, not what, because that also becomes another complication. Why don't the biological children of the soldiers, and by extension you can say of the policemen, of the even other public servants, if they had listened to us, but they were not, many of them were not even listening to what we were saying. Even if I'm getting a small salary, but if my child is studying free in an army school, in a primary school, a secondary school, a technical school, maybe when it comes to university, it may be difficult because it may not be easy to build army universities and so on. But at least these lower levels, our children could study free through our institutional institutional facilities. You address the issue of education of your children. Health can be addressed collectively by having army health centers all over the place. Housing, what General Otafiire is talking about. Houses built by our own internal capacity. The UPDF brigade, engineering brigade, is doing a wonderful job. They are building so many facilities and doing it cheaper, because when you use private people, the private man, many of them don't have their own money. They go to a bank, a commercial bank, moreover, and borrow money at 18% to build, if you hire them. Then, so if you are going to build a facility for 100 million, it is now going to be 118 million. 18% for the bank. Nothing to do with the houses. You are making money for the banks. Then the company want a profit. They want a profit of 20%. So you add another 20 million on the 118, so it is now 138 million. Then, because they are a private company, they pay tax, VAT, 18%. So now you have added another 18 million on the 138. It is now 156 million. Now, many of them don't have their own transport. They hire vehicles of other people to transport the materials. So, a building a facility that would have cost 100 million has now gone to 180 million or something like that. So I told the soldiers, why would you allow this to happen? Why don't you and you have got these engineers of the young people finishing Makerere who want to join the army, the police, civil engineers who can come and they are paid and they build. You give them equipment and they build facilities for you at price of the materials. Because they are already being paid by the army, they don't charge anything. So the only cost you have are the materials to use. We have been talking about this, but I don't know, I have not had time to discuss it with you in detail, but I really think this is the correct way to go. Trying to use private, the business people come, they want to do this for that's a trap. It will be very expensive. The APDF is doing very well now. They have built so many facilities. You can go and share with them. Now, so that one would solve the issue of institutional housing. Instead of these policemen, as General Otafiire is saying, staying in Mukono, in all those places, stay near the workplace. And you walk on foot from your house to the workplace. This is what we recommended long ago. It's not a new recommendation. But people don't listen most of the time. They have their own solutions. Now, that is on the side of the welfare. So now, when it comes to remuneration, like recently, when some few years ago, when I insisted to you people, you are all wonderful people, learned and so on, very clever people. Even the way you dress, we can see that you are very learned. But in order to maintain a road, we need an engineer. So if we don't have enough money to pay all of you well, why don't we start with this engineer so that he can maintain the roads for us? And then the matoke can come from the village and then we create more matoke and then we earn more. And the doctor, so that's why I insisted that the scientists are paid more. Fortunately, some of these groups are not so many. Like if you look at the government scientists, the researchers in the agriculture, the engineers, civil engineer, they are not so many. So actually they can be paid because they are smaller, but they are very crucial. The doctors. Then slowly we said, okay, we added now the prosecutors. We shall get to everybody. But these number plates of Tampeco, the old ones, they just remove them or change them. But this digital, you touch it, the central command is alerted. That's what I liked about that technology when I listened to it carefully. And I said, can it work? Then people went and they said it can work. If it can work, that would solve so many of these problems. Because that would mean the criminals who would fear using cars, fear using motorcycles, if they start using bicycles or walking on foot, then that will mean they will be less efficient. So therefore, I would want to advise you people, make use of technical solutions. Discuss them thoroughly. Don't bring business groups, people are lobbying for businesses, then you become their agent. You, instead of being a police officer, you are now an agent of business people. Get the technology. So whenever I get some of this technology, my first question is, can it work? The science, is the science correct? If the science is correct, then we move. So therefore, these technical solutions will help you. Now, regarding the other digital telephones, social media, absolutely, you need to get equipment for that. Therefore, coming to the crime data center, I totally support it. We shall have to build it. And the forensic center, I don't know what happened. There was talk about it. We shall have to work on it. I like the ideas of Justice Abodo, like the land issues being handled promptly, locally, instead of filing lawyers and so on. That's you study Abodo's idea of handling them off grid, directing the villages. You study it. Now, finally.
And Your Excellency, I remember your words. You gave me 5 priorities in that discussion, which I want to quickly recall. The first one, you guided us, said, go and focus on the mindset change. Try to build a critical mass in CID that understands the country's direction, and then we can be able to have transformation. Your Excellency, I'm very happy that in the last 2 years or so, you have supported the training of 450 officers. Now, I want to conclude my remarks, Museveni, by requesting for 1 or 2 things from you. We have been trying to improve on the process of getting this crime data in time and utilize it to guide decision making. So we want to request you to support us to put up a crime data analysis center, because CID, as you know, is the one which produces the annual crime report. We are the ones who are supposed to provide all of you quick and timely information on crime. I have the land, Museveni, as the Honorable Minister asserted me. So I would really want you to help me on that. You come in and we see how we can quickly do this. And now the last request, Museveni, I have land here. This place, we have been here since 1930s. We used to have a training school here. I say used because the structures now are all gone. So Museveni, that's the last area I would request you, because now that we have trained generally, we realize we need now to start specialized courses. You are in homicide detectives, come here, we teach you as you work, so that in the process, Museveni, we can be able to have better quality. Those are my 2 requests.
The ODPP and CID have a special duty in this country to protect society from criminal activities. The standard of service expected of us is really high, and which consequently places on us the duty to take reasonable steps to ensure that our services are actually effective, they are fair, they are transparent, and that we are also skilled and up to date in addressing emerging challenges in the crimes in Uganda. Most of the time when we actually do our work, police and DPP, when we do our work during elections and we prosecute, we arrest people who commit crimes and prosecute them, Your Excellency, it is always downplayed and they say that we are doing politics. Your Excellency, we don't involve ourselves in politics. We do not. We do not look at colors, and we just look at who has committed a crime, and we shall arrest you and have you prosecuted with evidence. The theme for this meeting, Your Excellency, this time is contribution of ODPP and CID in the socio-economic transformation of Uganda, and which we are very eager to listen from you this morning. The theme for that reason seeks to explore how the ODPP and CID can effectively and efficiently work together to foster socio-economic transformation in Uganda by agreeing on how best we can actually jointly promote the rule of law and create a safe environment for implementation of the different government programs, investment and wealth creation. This in line with your cherished vision of turning Uganda into a middle-income status, Your Excellency.
I wish to report that crime in the country is on the downward trend, as indicated in the annual crime report of 2023, Your Excellency, and we anticipate this trend to continue going downwards. Your Excellency, allow me to inform you that you gave us a task of establishing ourselves at the sub-county levels to establish police stations at the sub-county. And I would like to report to Your Excellency that we are already in the areas of Greater Masaka, the Albertine, West Nile, Kampala Metropolitan, the Sebei region, Savannah, Ankole, Chigezi, Rwenzori, Karamoja, Busoga, and Bugisu. These are the police regions, and Your Excellency, we are continuing, and I would like to assure you, Your Excellency, we are going to achieve this task that you gave us.